Hey foodies, welcome to Bubba's Food Rundown, your go-to spot for honest, no-holds-barred restaurant review. If you're hungry for a great place to eat on the road, you're in the right spot. All right, we're gonna test a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hey everybody, welcome to Bubba's Food Rundown. Today we're gonna make the meatballs and the spaghetti. My wife is here, she's gonna make her great just sauce and meatballs, homemade meatballs. So let's, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of kind of the ingredients we're gonna use, things like that. And well, she will. And then we'll get started.
Okay, this recipe, today we're making kind of like a triple batch. So we're using more. These won't add, really be the amounts that you will use.
Well, they'll use just like a single
amount,
right?
A single amount, but so it'll look different.
Yeah.
So the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of olive oil.
So we're using 1.5 cups.
Right.
And so everything's just times by 3 in the original recipe, right?
Right, and you'll have the original recipe at the end of the video. We'll share all that.
Yeah. And what about your tomatoes?
Well, I guess the very beginning of it are the tomatoes, and these are Mutti peeled tomatoes. They're a product of Italy, and this is the brand we prefer. You can use whatever you want. This is just what we prefer. The ingredients in this are whole tomatoes and tomato juice. There's nothing else in it, and that's one of the reasons we prefer it. It just has a better taste.
At least you know whenever you're making your sauce that you know what's in it, and instead of buying the crap at the store that is already processed, done, and we use some basil, or we use some fresh basil, things like that. So everything here is good and fresh, and we'll get started here just in a minute. We're gonna start her on the stove and let her eat.
So olive oil, this is chopped parsley, lots of thinly sliced garlic.
I think, what is there, like 36 cloves?
I think there's 36 cloves. We cheated a little bit and bought the already peeled because that's a lot of work.
But you don't want the other kind that's in the jar, right?
No,
the minced?
No, you want to use fresh garlic. Hot pepper flakes, if you don't want them, you can leave them out, but you don't taste heat. It just adds a little extra flavor. This is oregano, salt, and pepper. And basically,
it's pretty simple.
That's it.
And some bay leaves over there that we'll use as it's cooking, just to give it flavor.
And of course, fresh
basil.
Basil. And that doesn't go in till the end.
Right. Those bay leaves, the hardest thing about those is trying to find them.
Fishing them out.
So I think we're going to have like 6 or 8 of them in there. And I usually leave that straight to her because I can't find nothing in the cupboard well long in a big pot of sauce.
Okay, so we have a big pot, pretty good quality stainless steel. And I turn the heat on before I put anything in it because I like to just get the pan warm. So it's been on for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pour the olive oil in. I'm trying to get it all out here. At least not wanting on. And then I'm going to pour this garlic in. Now, the trick to garlic is being careful to not burn it. What I want to do is get this kind of golden, but if you let it burn, you got to throw it out and start over.
Tastes like crap.
It's very bitter. Garlic is bitter if you burn it. So that's what we want to do there. I'm just gonna.
Dozer, our dog, our Frenchie, he's coming over to help us out today. He would like to be a taste tester, but he can't have it.
He just wants to be in the way. Okay. So right now, it's just kind of a wait and watch.
How long does it usually take? 10 minutes probably. What about once it starts getting hot? That garlic, like a few minutes, a couple minutes?
Once your oil gets hot, it just takes a very few minutes because it's sliced thin and it's like an onion. You know, they will soften up, and garlic will burn quickly.
Yeah, because I know.
You can't walk away from this.
Yeah, for me, whenever I started cooking, when you taught me to cook, I didn't know anything about burning garlic, and I burned a bunch of it and had to throw everything out. So
Yeah, you can't. It's a no-no.
it's a no-no.
So, since we are cooking Italian food today, it's only fitting that we should have a little bit of wine. Duflin wine is from North Carolina. We, of course, live in South Carolina, but this is my favorite. I don't like dry wine. They do have some, but I don't like it. Muscadine wine is made from muscadine grapes, which are from the South. And if you ever get a chance, try some muscadine wine from Duflin Winery. They make the best stuff.
And they got a big winery down here,
Yeah,
where they do the tastings. And
there's one in Rose Hill, North Carolina. That's where it's from. There's one here in Myrtle Beach, and there's also a new one in Panama Beach, Florida.
And they have a club, right?
Yep, we have.
Which Vicky definitely belongs to.
I think I may have been one of the
actually,
original.
right, because when we took our tasting, it was from the owner.
Yeah.
It was the grandson. He's the owner. Him and his brother own that. And that's who gave us our tour of it back then.
It's been a long time.
And my gosh, every quarter you get new wines.
Every quarter you get a shipment of 3 of their wines, and you get, they throw other little gifts in there, kind of
But what's
like that.
But what's the best thing
That
about it?
pot holder. The best thing?
How many drinks do you get per day if you live here?
Well, you get 2 as a member when you go to visit the winery. You get two glasses of wine.
For free.
For free.
Every
Yeah,
day.
it's free.
Every
And
day.
you can do a tasting. And if I want to go every day, I get it every day. And then if I want to buy additional, it's still a discount.
Yeah.
You get a discount on anything in the store.
So that can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Well, I always take a friend, so I don't drink.
That's true.
So, but if you get a chance, and this is Christmas wine.
Yep, it's awesome. Oh, the garlic is starting to simmer there pretty good. So we're getting really close. Next, we're going to add in the red pepper flakes as soon as she gets it where she likes it.
We're not there yet. It's still white, but it won't take just a few more minutes. Like I said, this is quick.
Getting close.
Not too far.
It's a lot. It looks like a lot of garlic, don't it?
It's not. You can never get too much garlic, except when you have to cut it and it's all over your hands.
Right.
See, it's getting tender, but it's not brown yet. Not brown, golden.
Golden.
Yeah. Look at this. So, some of these smaller pieces, see how they're starting to get pretty golden?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to really be careful. You don't want to get some of it overdone and some of it, so it's really starting to brown.
What the odd thing is, you think, oh gosh, them big pieces of garlic, but what you don't know yet, there's going to be an immersion blender come at the end of this thing.
We do, not everybody
No,
does
not
that.
everybody does.
Okay, so this for me is getting golden enough. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to dump in the red pepper flakes.
1.5 teaspoons.
1.5 teaspoons, again, because we
Triple batch.
tripled the recipe. And why you put them in now with this is because you want to extract the oil from these seeds. And again, you might think, oh God, that's going to be too hot. It is not. You can't tell there's red pepper flakes in it. It's just flavor. Okay, so that garlic is getting golden, more golden.
So now next is added in some tomatoes, right?
Yes, now I need to do that. So, the really neat thing about these tomatoes, another neat thing, is they are pop-top. I don't have to get the can opener out. I just have to be able to get it off. There we go.
Finger cutter right there.
My heat is on low. And we cook with gas, so you'll have to adjust it if you have electric. Every stove is different. I don't care whether you have electric or gas. They're all a little bit different. So you just find what works.
So now we're going to go through and pop open all 12 of these cans and add them to it. And as you can see, they're whole peeled tomatoes. And once these get started, after a little while, we'll have to mash them a little bit. We'll get like a potato masher is what we usually use, isn't it? Something like that?
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I don't know what it does, but it just
breaks them up. But these will start breaking up a little bit as they cook anyway.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to add the other 11. And so I don't think you want to see all that. So we'll be show you what it looks like whenever we get all 11 added in.
Okay, so you can see we've got all 12 cans of tomatoes emptied in here with the garlic, olive oil, and the red pepper, crushed red pepper. So I'm just going to stir it up a little bit, and I am going to add the rest of the seasonings, the salt, the oregano, and the black pepper. I'm going to stir that together. The reason we're making such a big batch of it is because we can it, so that we can have it whenever we want. The original recipe, if you make it that way, it probably would serve 4 to 6 people, depending on how much or how little sauce you like. Okay.
It's nice to have it
in the pantry.
How many bay leaves?
I'm putting in 6 bay leaves. And I'm just going to stir them around. You know, bay leaves kind of come apart sometimes. So when I'm picking them out of the container, I try to pick the ones that are not broken. That way it makes it a little easier to fish them out when you're done. Okay, there we go.
So now this will go on anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5 to 4 hours. I mean, the longer it cooks, the thicker it'll get, the sweeter it will get.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you are watching it. No matter how low the heat is, things tend to stick on the bottom. So you want to stir it and make sure that nothing's sticking. Just keep an eye on it. But right now, all you're doing is letting this simmer for, you know, at least 4 hours. Yeah. And it'll cook down. But you do want to stir it every now and then. You don't have to stand here, but you want to come over and give it a stir.
Then what do we do while we're doing, waiting for the sauce to cook?
Oh, I think we make meatballs.
We make meatballs, the meatballs. Okay, well, we will get to making some meatballs. It's been about 30 minutes, and we are giving this just a little stir here. Make sure, you know, it's not sticking on the bottom. The next time we stir, we're going to start kind of crushing these big tomatoes up with like a potato masher, or you can just take the side of your spoon and do it. It'll just, needs another 30 minutes, just that way it mashes a lot easier. So, like she said, they'll start coming apart a little bit by themselves.
Okay, so now it's time to make the meatballs, and we are doing a double batch. I have ground veal. This is a pound. Normally it would be 8 ounces. I have ground beef. It's also a pound. Normally you would use 8 ounces if you weren't doubling it. And this is ground pork, also a pound, and it would be 8 ounces. So if you were making...
What's your burger? Is it like 80-20, 80-15?
It's 85.
85-15?
Right. So I will tell you this. So we did buy this at the store this time, but most of the time we grind our own, everything except the veal, of course. And sometimes people have trouble finding ground veal. If you can't find it, just make more of the other. It may not taste the same, and you may not care, you know, but just in case, because I know that some people have trouble finding it. Anyway, that's our meat. I have this is 2 cups, again, we're doubling it, of whole milk. And then I have 2 cups of kind of stale Italian bread that I have cut up, and I removed the crust from it. So I'm going to pour the milk, if I don't spill it first, into the breadcrumbs, or bread cubes. They're not crumbs. And you want that to sit for about 5 minutes and let it soak. After it's done that, you're going to squeeze the milk out of it and discard the milk, and then tear that bread into little pea-sized pieces.
So does that take the place of like breadcrumbs?
Yeah, breadcrumbs are dry. You know, the last thing really, even in a meatloaf, and I know I used to do it too, but as I've gotten older, I've learned that milk, with ground beef particularly, it tenderizes it. And the bread. So I would rather do that. If you want to do the other, that's up to you. This is the way I do it. Okay, so that while that's doing that, I have 6 eggs in this bowl because we're doubling it. Normally it would be 3. I have chopped garlic, salt, pepper, and oregano, all right there. Now this is not sliced, it's chopped. It doesn't take very long to do that.
It's chopped really fine too, because I chopped it.
It is, but if you have, we do have one, but he preferred to chop it. We have a garlic press that makes it minced. You can do that too.
It takes longer to do that than it does to just chop it with a knife.
Well, maybe so. Then we're doubling it. You would use 1.25 cups normally, so this is 2.5 cups of Parmesan, grated Parmesan, and I do use my food processor to do it. So just a tip, some people already know this, some people don't. You know, when you buy Parmesan, this is kind of what it looks like in the store. We buy ours at either Sam's or Costco because we use a lot of it. But it has a rind on it, and you can tell because it's dark and it's hard. So you want to cut that off because you can't grind it really. And when I cut mine off, I put it in a freezer bag and I put it in the freezer because you can add this, well, I could even add it to the sauce, but it doesn't need it. You can add this to soup, vegetables, any kind of soup. Minestrone, fagioli, anything like that. And it just adds so much flavor. So just a tip.
Paying for it, might as well use it.
Well, yeah, I don't like to waste. Okay, so that is that.
Fennel seeds.
I have fennel seeds, and if you can find ground ones, do that, but I can't. So we have a kind of like a mortar and a pestle. It's actually from Mexico. We got it to make guacamole, but it works for this. And you just take this and just do like that and grind them up. They don't have to be completely ground. You don't want that. You just want to break them up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to add the red pepper flakes. It would normally be a 1/2 teaspoon, but I need to add a whole teaspoon, and they are over here. So this is a teaspoon. I leveled it off. I'm just going to put that in there.
Some people grind those, some people don't. I think they do better in the meatballs if you grind them a little bit. That way you're not getting bigger pieces.
For me, I don't really care because they kind of dissolve a little bit. But either way is good. It's not a big deal to do it, so why not? If it makes the cameraman happy, that's what we'll do.
That's right.
Okay, so that's enough right there. So that's our ingredients. Oh, and olive oil. And I'm not sure where my olive oil is, but I'll get that. So some people don't mind, and that is fine, but I really don't like to have messy hands.
You want to bring your bowl over here?
Yeah, I can. I just don't. I mean, I'll do it if I have to, but I don't have to today. So these are food safe gloves, and I ordered them from Amazon, like you do everything else. And I'm just going to put this meat in here very noisily. Plate over there. And I think I'll go ahead and mash it up a little bit. So when you're doing meatballs, or any kind of, if you're making any kind of meatloaf or whatever, You really just want to combine it. You don't want to over mix it. It's like over mixing a pie dough or anything else. It will get tough. So just kind of combine it a little bit, break it up. Because I'm going to mix it when I put all the stuff in it. I'm just kind of, there we go. So that's good enough for now. And I have to check this here. Oh yeah. So you can see that I'm going to pick this up. It doesn't matter that I'm using these gloves because everything is going into this meat. If I was going to touch something that wasn't going to be cooked in here, I would have to take these gloves off. So I'm just going to tear this up, little pieces. I just rub it between my fingers, actually. Okay. Make sure I got that ripped up pretty good.
I think it matters using Italian bread to regular bread?
I don't know. I've never tried it the other way.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, it's not a semolina bread.
You know, a lot of places in the world, I mean, where I'm from, you know, in Spencer, West Virginia, I mean, back in the day, I mean, you wasn't really
probably weren't going to find that.
Italian bread. I'm sure they got it now because they've got a Walmart and everything, but...
No, I don't I mean, it doesn't taste any different than other bread.
I never had Italian bread growing up, so I had Wonder and Sunbeam.
Well, those are good breads. Nothing wrong with that.
I think it was Wonder.
Yeah, you had Wonder bread.
Purity.
Purity. Yeah, it was the little sunshine girl. That's what I always think of. Yeah, she was always cute. So, you know, it's not like it's, I don't think it matters. So if you don't have Italian bread or you don't want to buy that, you're not going to use it.
Use white bread.
Just use white bread, but cut the crust off. I don't remember having Italian bread when I was a kid either. But I probably wouldn't have paid that much attention. Most of the bread I had as a child was actually homemade by my grandmothers or my aunts or my mother.
Just whatever kind of bread.
Yeah, they made homemade white bread, cornbread, biscuits.
My grandma used to make the homemade rolls, you know, that's what I remember the most.
Yeah, that's what mine did. I'm just scooping through here to make sure I didn't leave any bread. Okay, so that's all the bread. Okay, I'm getting rid of that milk. Okay, and I think next we're going to break these eggs in this bowl. I'm going to take this off for now, and I can get new ones in a little bit. Just messy, by now it's messy. Okay, so I'm going to take the eggs out of the bowl. Okay, and I crack them in the bowl. I mean, most of the time you don't have any problem, but still, that way if you happen to drop a shell, which I'm sure no one does that, you can get it out before you put it in your bowl. Because once you put it in that bowl, it's hard to fish out. There's a reason I know that.
Would you like to watch?
Well, okay, so
They have a TV?
we had TV, but we didn't have but maybe 3 channels. And the only cooking show I remember watching, Graham Kerr, and he was the Galloping Gourmet. And I watched it with my dad, and he was funny, that Graham Kerr was. And I don't know, we loved it. It was fun. But that's the only cooking show I ever watched as a kid. They just didn't have them. So, okay, so I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to put them over here in this dirty bowl, and I need to get a whisk. So let's just grab this, and I'm just going to go ahead and break them up in here. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but why not? I'm going to pour that in. And I'm going to go ahead and pour all my stuff in. So there again is the garlic, salt, oregano, and pepper. Kind of trying to evenly distribute and not put it all in one place. And fennel and red pepper flakes. My gosh, that smells so good. If you guys haven't smelled fennel, it smells good. Okay, this is my Parmesan. Now, you can use a bowl, or not a bowl, we have a bowl. You can use a spoon if you want to do this, but the best tools to use for this are the ones God gave you, your hands. And I'll be right back because I would like to put on some gloves. I should have got them out, but I didn't. Again, these are food safe. These are not hospital gloves, so be careful when you order them that you order the right ones, food safe gloves. Okay, so there we go. Just kind of toss it around a little bit. Now, Bubba asked me earlier if you could, say you don't eat beef. I know there are a lot of people who may not eat beef. You could make these with any ground meat of your choice. You could make them with chicken or turkey. You might want to adjust the cooking time a little bit. You don't want to get them too dried out, but it would be fine. I would like it. I like things like that, but would not. No. And I don't know for vegans or vegetarians how you would.
Just the sauce would be awesome.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, the sauce you could eat. Vegan, vegetarian, either way, you could eat that. These, I don't know.
I don't think so.
But I just don't know how you could make them. They have that, the plant-based. Well, they have tofu and plant-based meat. I just don't know. I've never tried it, but I guess you could. Okay, that's all I'm going to do to that. It's mixed good enough.
Yeah, looks good.
And
minutes or so like that. We've already stirred it once. We're going to do it again and see how they're doing. It's hot.
I think you need a pot holder.
Yeah, I think so. Now you can see they're starting to kind of shrink up a little bit. And we're going to start kind of mashing these out a little bit here. Just kind of throw them up against the sides. Potato masher works really good, but I don't have one with a handle that long. So after a bunch of mashing, this is kind of what you're after. Now see how they're broken up? Things like that. See that? That's what you're after. So that'll, if you see any more along the way, still pop them, but that's pretty good consistency right there.
Okay. Well, I think I got water in it. That's why it's doing that. Yeah, not a good idea to get water in grease at the stove. And you can see most of the tomatoes have really cooked up. There's not very many pieces, but he did mash them up, but it's looking good. It will cook down more. This
So
is
about 2 hours in right now.
Yeah. Remember, the longer you go, the better it'll taste. And you can see I have nothing on the bottom of my spoon, which means I'm not scorching. But I have it on low heat. I'm going to get some meatballs. First, I'm going to put my gloves on again.
We forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Last time we was in, we forgot to put the parsley in it. So we went ahead and put the parsley in it while we was off air.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to take just a pinch of this and cook it. We got to turn this down because I got it hot.
Well, you did, didn't you?
Well, this gets hot. So by the way, this is, you can see it, it's a beautiful pan. Wow, I got it way too hot. It is carbon steel, And it is actually made here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's Smithy. They make cast iron, they make carbon steel, two different animals in some way. But this is something that it's all hand done. You can see the hammer marks even in here. But this is kind of something you'll pass on down. They're not cheap, but it's an heirloom. Yeah, that'll be. Now you see how easy that just flipped up? The reason is my pan is seasoned. You can fry an egg in here. You can do whatever you want in this skillet. And the reason I was willing to pay more for this is because I don't want Teflon. If I can keep from using that, I think it's better for everyone. So that's the purpose behind that. And we want to make sure that, yeah, I want to make sure that the seasoning is good. Because you don't want to cook them all and then figure out, oh, that needed more salt. Because it's a little late then. So, I don't think it needs a thing. I think everything's good. Okay, so now we're going to put a few in. Now we don't really cook these all the way, fry them all the way. Bub likes big meatballs. That's up to you. Yeah. You can make them any size you want. This is just Bubba size.
Yeah, some people make them like golf ball size. Some people make them smaller.
I'm not sure what size this is.
Meatballs go perfect with a spaghetti dip.
I don't think you should kid anyone that that's all you eat with it.
Yeah.
So I really don't want them touching each other because it gives them room to cook. If you put them up next to each other, they steam. Nobody wants steamed meatballs. Or I don't.
So once we cook these, sear them, or whatever you want to call it, we will put these back in over here, and then once the pot cooks down with the sauce, we will finish them off in the pot with the sauce. To cook the rest of the way, it just gives them such more flavor. It actually helps the sauce a little bit too. So we just turned these meatballs one time. And of course now she needs to stir it again on the sauce. So with these meatballs, and this is the other that it's made, it's getting ready to run a little bit more. Hey, while I've got you on here, make sure, if you can, please, like our channel, subscribe to it, please. That really helps. And comment on the YouTube site. Some people comment on the Facebook,
which is cool,
which is good. But if you comment on the YouTube, it's a lot better for me, and I can, if you got anything you want to see or you don't want to see, say, hey, I think you did a crappy job on this.
Do something else.
Or whatever, But give me an idea. If you want to see some more videos like this, we're making some homemade things. And anyway, like I said, be sure and interact with it.
Also, I want you guys to look. I mean, I know it looks like there's a lot of oil in here, but there really isn't. But I want you to look. See, nothing sticks. And if you use these pans the right way, you don't even have to use Teflon.
What's the name of those pans again?
Smithy, S-M-I-T-H-E-Y. They're made in Charleston, South Carolina. 2 and 1 scoop.
2 and 1.
Yeah. So that's number 2. It's number 3.
How many do we have?
6. Yeah, you don't want to lose count of your
I sat in there forever trying to get this.
Basil leaves. Yep.
It's like bobbing for apples.
Okay, but now you know why you don't want pieces of bay leaves. That's 4.
There, we got all 6 of them back out. And we are now getting ready to put the immersion blender to it.
But look how much. There are no whole tomatoes in it. It's just pieces.
And it's went down probably 1.5 inches.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what's called an immersion blender. That thing comes off once you push the button. It comes off. This is the part you clean. You don't clean that one. And it's easy to go on. Now the thing with an immersion blender is you put it down in whatever you're trying to mix up. If you pull it up too far, you're gonna have a mess that you will never forget because it will sling everywhere. So don't do that. So here we go. I'm not gonna turn it on until I get it in there. And then you can hear it. And you can bring it up a little far, but not very far. Okay, that's all there is to it. These things are worth their weight in gold. Just don't pull them out too far to the top. Okay, that's that. Let's unplug it for safety. Put it over here.
So now we are going to go ahead and add some meatballs into this. We've not fine-tuned the seasoning yet, but she's going to...
Basil.
Basil. After you do that, they say it's best to pull it apart instead of chopping it.
What bruises it?
You're not going to pull it apart?
No. I can do that. But it does, it bruises it. Basil is a delicate leaf. So even if you chop it, you need to be careful. You'll see it gets real dark. And I like basil, so it doesn't matter to me. Some people don't.
Yeah, if you don't want it in there, don't put it in there.
Yeah, it's all up to you.
If you're, just gives it a different taste. You can always go heavy on garlic.
You can do what, this is the thing. This is our recipe, it's what we like, but you can take the basics of it and do whatever you want. Everybody does, that's how we came up with our recipe.
If it's too much basil, too less basil, you could always get your immersion blender back in there if it's too big or whatever, you know.
It will melt.
It will melt down, yeah.
It kind of shrinks, it's like spinach. See? It just kind of
shrinks. We're going to add
shrinks.
some meatballs back into this and let them start cooking. You just got to keep count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11,
We get half of them. So if we get 13, that'd be
12,
good for the first time.
13.
Okay.
Okay, there we are.
So these will cook about 15 minutes, along with the. It'll also even help the.
Well, it looks done to me.
Yeah,
You want to taste it?
they look good.
Open wide.
Looks pretty hot. It is hot, but it's really good.
You don't want to overcook them.
No,
They're done.
that's really good.
Very tasty, if we do say so ourselves.
Let's go ahead and dip the rest of them out.
Okay.
Some water, salted water in the pot, getting it going. We're going to add our spaghetti, homemade spaghetti, and then pasta. That's kind of a pain. Whenever we can just go up here to the Veganos, and he makes it fresh all the time. And we're also going to do a few jars to show you. She's going to throw some of these in a jar and can them up, or cold pack, whatever you want to call that. So, let me show you this. So she has taken jars and she's filling them full of hot water off the stove. And she's also she's got lids in there in the hot water. So when it comes time here in a minute, she will throw a couple meatballs in one of them jars, fill it up with sauce.
Or not.
Or not, or you can just, and hopefully, if everything goes right, they will seal. And once they do seal, make sure that you store them in the coolest place possible in your house. So, And okay, we're gonna do two things at once here. We're gonna go ahead and start putting the spaghetti in. Oh yeah. This is fresh spaghetti, so it's not like the dry spaghetti. It only takes a few minutes and it is done.
No more than 3.
No more than 3 minutes, she says. So that's good.
Okay, this is done.
So all the meatballs is out. So look at how much different the sauce looks. I mean, look at that. That really looks good. And the big thing of meatballs. So now spaghetti will get done, and we will.
We forgot to mention that we did do a taste test on the spaghetti sauce before we put the meatballs in, because it was cooked. But you do want to make sure, one little taste, to see if you need to adjust any of the seasonings. We didn't, but we did forget to mention it. Yeah.
We didn't have to do anything, but look how much the meatballs soaked up with some of that sauce.
You can see.
You can see where it is. It's down another good inch, at least. So all that flavor's in those meatballs. So now she's going to put the sauce in here.
This is a messy job. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top because you want to leave it a little bit of what they call headroom. Back in my, it's what I was taught anyway.
We're going to do this one without meatballs.
And again, if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you of course would make this and not put any kind of meat in the, no meatballs, so you wouldn't have to worry. But we could never serve this to someone who is, because we cooked the meatballs in it. Okay.
Okay, so we have drained our spaghetti. Fishing those lids out of that hot water.
Maybe.
Sometimes they stick to the bottom of it. These are all suction.
There we go. Well, there we are. So I've already wiped to make sure there's nothing on top of that lid or that jar. If there's anything on the top of that jar, these won't seal. So you've got to make sure you wipe them really good. And then tighten it and carry it over.
Okay.
All right, we canned 9 quarts out of that, but there's a lot of sauce left in the pan. So, but this is what we canned. Everything was scalding hot, and I'm going to wrap them in this towel and leave them sit. I will check on them to make sure they do seal, but I don't need to do the hot water bath because these are really, really hot. So I just pack them in there and put the towel around them, or a blanket, whatever you have, and wait.
Start hearing them snap, crackle, pop.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Hey, this is, I think we're all finished for the day. We've got everything done. I've already ate 5 meatballs. So, you know, thanks again. Hey, remember, on my part, please like, subscribe, comment, anything.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. So,
We really appreciate you all allowing us to share some of our favorite recipes with you. Hope you enjoy them. You can tweak them as you like to make them your own, and it was fun.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
hopefully we can make some more. You know, she makes some great baked steak. You can ask Joey Fox if Joey's out there listening. And we will make all kinds of different things. So until later, you know, if this comes out around Christmas or New Year's, you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you all later.